Welcome to the Black Church Leadership Podcast. I'm your producer Billy Ryan, and I'm thrilled to introduce our host Apostle Martin Wilson. Apostle Wilson has dedicated the last 30 years of his life to the subject of leadership and now seeks to help empowering individuals so that they can be the best versions of themselves. In this podcast, we'll explore the challenges and triumphs faced by Black church leaders today. Apostle Wilson and his esteemed guest will share his wisdom on effective leadership strategies and navigating societal issues that impact our congregations. Without further ado, let's go to our podcast already in progress.
Grace and peace, this is Bishop Wilson. Listen, I want to welcome you to the Black Church Leadership Podcast. And in this episode, we're going to discuss the importance of leadership as it relates to helping individuals who seemingly are unwilling to help themselves. Because as a pastor, we're not only there to guide our congregation spiritually, but we provide support and encouragement to our members that are facing challenges. So I want to dive into some specific suggestions and resources that can empower individuals while they're growing through, while they're dealing with things, so that we can support them on their journey. And so I'm going to be recording this throughout the day. And number one is foster understanding and empathy. Empathy is always about active listening. That's the first thing. Understanding the underlying reasons why an individual would resist helping themselves. And I think a lot of us, we don't stop to think about there's always an underlying issue why that individual is not willing to take the initiative. It could be low self-esteem. They don't believe in themselves. They've always been in situations where people have downed them. So when we're showing that we love them and we care for them and we're showing that empathy, we've got to be genuine in what we're doing. We've got to be genuine in our empathy and try to place ourselves in the other person's shoes. And by doing so, we can be effective in addressing their concerns and building a connection with them. The next phase of helping that individual is leveraging the power of relationship, encouraging the individual from a place of meaningful connection, trying to get them to connect and really become a part of the ministry that they're a part of. And this can be achieved through having them participate in small groups, mentoring them, having them connect with individuals in the ministry that have gone through some of the same things that they've been through. This will foster a sense of belonging, gives them a sense of support, and the individual feels more motivated at some point. I just believe that that individual is going to feel motivated to engage in self-help efforts. In other words, they're willing to help themselves. The third way that we can support a person that seemingly resists our help, or that they don't see the need for help, is to provide relevant resources, identifying specific resources that aligns with the individual's challenges. That could be books, that could be tapes, that could be YouTube videos that will help that individual to maybe listen to that and gain new understanding about what they're dealing with. And this could be podcasts, workshops that address their specific struggle. For example, if someone is dealing with addiction, you might suggest the recovery programs or a support group. By offering these targeted resources, you show your dedication to that person's personal growth.
Number 4 is encourage the person to reflect on their personal goals. In other words, you have to help them to see the importance of setting personal goals in their life. And you might have to guide the individual on how the reflecting is something that's important, because I always tell people, with a GPS, unless you put in the right current location, then you're not going to be able to go to your destination. So they can show them how important that reflecting is, and how it's going to help them to be able to identify the desired areas that they want to improve in. And together, you and the person, help them to set realistic goals so that they can achieve, little forward motion, step by step. Show them how to break down their large objectives into manageable tasks. And what that does is help the individual to have a sense of accomplishment, and it's going to motivate them. It's going to motivate them on their journey. Number 5 is implement manageable measures. Establish regular check-ins with the individual. Hold that person accountable. There's a difference between me just having a meeting with you versus me holding you accountable. When you really care about somebody and you want that person to move forward, you have to hold them accountable to the task that you're going over, that you're working together. Why set goals if you're not going to hold them to those goals? And this can be done through a one-on-one meeting. It can be done in group settings. There may be more than one person that you're mentoring and that you're coaching with. It can be done in group settings. You can utilize technology, Zoom calls, but it ensures the individual feels supported. It lets them know that you're there for them, and it increases the likelihood that they're going to be able to stay on track. Number 6 is you want to celebrate milestones of their success. You want to acknowledge and celebrate every milestone, every achievement, no matter how small it is, and it helps them to recognize that they're making progress. Sometimes this needs to be done publicly. Some people, they need that assurance that other people are with them. That's going to motivate them. That's going to inspire them, and it's going to inspire other people that may be struggling with the same task. So when you're celebrating their success, it's going to boost their confidence. It's going to reinforce their commitment to personal growth. Number 7, if you're a pastor, you need to be offering pastoral counseling. And as a pastor, you've got to understand that you possess a unique skill to provide spiritual guidance and counseling. You can offer that. It needs to be offered one-on-one, on a one-on-one session where the individual feels safe and they're able to explore their fears, their concerns, the barriers. Very personal things may come up during that time, and your guidance can help them to gain clarity and develop strategies to overcome their own resistance. Number 8, community support. You got to help them connect with other individuals, other groups within the community that will help them to assist them on their growth. And these groups, they need to offer a safe space where the individual can connect with other people that have experienced the same thing they're going through, receive encouragement, and learn how other people met some of the same challenges. And by doing these connections with people who have faced similar struggles, the resistance or the person who's resisting can gain a sense of belonging and realize that they're not the only one that's going through. They're not the only one. So in my conclusion of this, as a pastor, it's essential that you approach the individual that won't help themselves with empathy, understanding, validation, foster that supportive environment, and seek to improve the relationship between you two, provide those relative resources, implement accountability measures, and empower them by taking them through small steps, positive steps to move them forward. And remember, change takes time. Change takes time, and your role as a pastor is to provide unwavering support, compassion throughout the person's journey. That's what the Bible's talking about when it's talking about long suffering. So I want to thank you for tuning into this episode. I pray that it has helped someone and will help you as leaders to better serve your congregation. Stay tuned for more valuable leadership lessons in the future episodes. This has been the Black Church Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Bishop and Pastor and Life Coach, Martin Wilson. God bless.
You have been listening to the Black Church Leadership Podcast with Master Life Coach and NLP practitioner, Apostle Martin Wilson.